Hello everyone, and welcome to a special demo edition of Memetaa TVR. Here I'll be talking about the key changes made to the ASB Infinite Prevention System in the R update as presented in the current demo alongside some of my opinions on the revised system. I just want to say as a note that there are changes that might be made when it's in full release, so don't take all of this as fact if you're watching this from the future. And I know exactly what you're thinking right now. This video is looking real long and probably for nerds, and you want to go off and make some cool combos. So just for all of you out there, I will sum up the entire video and this entire system in one single line. So are you ready for this? I'm only going to say this twice. So, here we go. Don't use the same move more than twice in the same combo. That's it. So let's say it together one more time. Don't use the same move more than twice in the same combo. And that's it. You have all the knowledge you need to avoid your opponent falling out of your combo and making you look like a complete idiot. So congratulations, take your certificate on the way out as you proceed to close this tab. It was very nice having you for this, minute here. Really love that. So bye to all of you. And as for the rest of you that want to hang around, let's start to get into the nitty-gritty details of what this new system looks like in action. Just in case you've never played the original ASB, or maybe you picked it up a little later into its update life, the launch version had infinite problems. A very bad infinite problem, actually. And to combat this, the developers tried an incredibly stupid solution before they finally settled on a somewhat convoluted, but overall well-balanced system. The gist was that using the same move repeatedly in the same combo would put your opponent to a special state where they would fall out of your combo and be allowed to tech roll as soon as they touch the ground. However, they chose to further revise the system to a simpler to explain, but overall more restricting state as of this R state. So let's just take a look at this using Jonathan and Jotaro as our main examples, since we'll have a non-stand user and a stand user. So to start off, I want to show things off at, like the simple stuff. So with infinite gauge, let's just repeat light, medium, heavy over and over and see exactly what happens here. So hopefully I don't fuck this up. And there we go. We'll get there eventually. Alright, there it is. So as you can see there, all those other times are obviously horrible, but on the final thing, you can see that Jotaro kind of did this weird little rollout as soon as that third light hit him. So let's take this into a little step further and see what happens when I start off with the crouching light and mediums in our first iteration. Boom, perfect. So as you can see this time, Jotaro rolls out as soon as the third heavy connects. This heavy that would usually hit twice instantly sends Jotaro to the ground as soon as it makes contact. So it's best to look at things as if a move counter is kind of going up as long as your combo counter is going up. So each time you use the same move, it puts another number on the board, and as soon as that number hits 3, that's 3 strikes and the opponent is out of your combo. But let's illustrate this a bit further by switching sides and talking about how this works for stand users, so like Jotaro here. Now, there are other types of characters in this game, but again, just for the sake of this explanation, because as of this demo we only have these two types, let's just divide the characters into, as you can see here, non-stand users and stand users for now. Now, as stand users, your move options are divided into light, medium, heavy, jumping light, medium, heavy, crouching light, medium, heavy, and of course your command normals and special moves. Remember that special moves are all counted as the same move regardless of what strength they're performed at or whether you spend meter to EX it. But what do we say about stand users? Now, when we go down to stand users, we have light, medium, heavy, stand active light, medium, heavy, jumping light, medium, heavy, stand active jumping light, medium, heavy, crouching light, medium, heavy, stand active crouch light, medium, heavy, command normals, stand active command normals, special moves, and of course, let's not forget, stand active special moves. So you might have noticed there's a bit of disparity here, and it's less of non-stand users and stand users as much as non-stand users and cheaters. But you're probably thinking, non-stand users were meant to be simpler to play, so it's only fair that their combos end up being short and simple. But the more important change to the system comes next. Prior to R, there were two major states you had to worry about in ASB. whether your opponent was on the ground or in a juggle state in the air. The important reason for this was because there was actually a separate move counter for each state your opponent was in. So for example, you could perform a standing medium 5 times on the ground and your opponent would still be in a comboable state at that time. So say you happen to launch them into the air after you perform those. You could then proceed to continue your offensive and continue to juggle with 5 standing mediums as long as your opponent was still in the aerial state. Your combo was most likely over before you ever hit this limit, but it was actually really nice to have the freedom to optimize your damage and always select the best button for the job during your combo. However, the biggest change made to the system in the art update comes next. During a combo, your opponent is actually never considered in a separate state with respect to the move counter. Within the same combo, it doesn't matter if your opponent is on the ground or in the air, you cannot actually perform the same move more than twice in the same combo. Thus, the starting line we started off with. So this means if you choose to perform a standing medium twice before you send your opponent skyward, you have effectively locked yourself out of ever using that button to continue your juggle. So let's show a couple of examples with Jonathan again. So just first off, I'll do kind of like before, I'll do a basic light, medium, and heavy chain twice before I choose to launch Jotaro. Now see what happens when I try to float him with a standing medium once he's in the air. And let's see if I screw this up. Right, so there's the launch. And as you can see, that Zoom Punch just went right through him and he was able to attack as, he hit the ground. So, again there, he pops out. And I've just lost my chance at big damage because I had chosen to hit him in the air with a medium when I had already performed 2 while he was on the ground. But since, that's obviously a little bit of an impractical example, let's try and do something that like you might have seen in my videos where I was launching with Overdrive Renda over and over, or not over and over, but I would do it twice. And some of you might have thought, wait, why didn't he just continue the loop and try and use Overdrive Renda a 3rd time to launch? Well, I'll show you exactly what happens when I try to do that. And I'm definitely going to mess this one up. So there's the first, there's the second, and look at that. Where did that move even make contact? The thing is, it actually didn't. Oop. There's 2. Why did that not combo? Alright, so there's 2. Ah, there we go. That's what I wanted to show. So, in this case, you'll see that a hit of the 3rd Overdrive Renda actually connected, but our marine biologist over here quickly transformed into a whale in the middle of it and dropped right out of it before any of the other hits could connect. So, now that you've kind of seen these big key changes and that we've gone over them, it's kind of time for the short little opinions corner and I don't know, like solutions of what I would like to see with them going forward, whether in the actual release or maybe like a quick feature patch. I'm sure you probably come to understand along the way that I obviously do not like this new change, but I just wanted to flesh out that I understand the purpose of some of these changes, but overall I would like, a few modifications here and there to kind of make it a little looser. So, just for starters, let's look the other way. I get it. The average player doesn't like getting caught in a long combo. And there's a good chance that they were going to grow longer because we have assists now that can be performed at any point during our combos. But on the kind of the flip side of this, all of the characters now have a universal burst mechanic, something that was only available to, very limited characters in the original game. But now everybody can do it. Granted, you have to use a particular assist gauge to get out of combos that are limited per round. You at least have the option, like if oh, hey, this guy's about to hit me with a long one and I don't want to take all this damage here, let's just sacrifice one of my assists, or in some cases some have 3 ticks, let's just throw one away, let's get out of this combo and let me go on the offensive again. So if you're going to introduce this burst system, why bother making the combo system itself more rigid? And the other thing is, I get this technically encourages more move variety. Loop combos, as they were in the original ASB game, they're not exciting. They don't look all that cool. And actually, a lot of them, I remember Cocteauine's original loop combo, they look really damn silly. And to be fair, when I went on Twitter to get ideas for combos, there was some really cool things. Like, people have gotten really creative to get around these restrictions. But the reality of this is all these combos would have been possible on the old system. So while this does, out of the gate, encourage creativity, it just ultimately reduces the options players are given. It gives less freedoms. And, on the fly, it's really... you just really don't get the satisfaction of, hey, I know I can do this and it'll work. It's more like, oh, I'm about to do the third hit of this move and this guy's going to drop out on my combo. And by the time you're performing the move, it's too late and someone's rolling out and you're just feeling bad about it. And just in case, I uploaded a taunt combo video, just recently, and that one had a Jotaro combo in it. And it took me quite a long time, and I was I said in the video description, I was in a Discord call, and my friends were just listening to me getting mad every single time there was this drop in this combo. And a lot of it was, not a lot of it, but some of it was execution error, but a lot of it was just, as I got deeper and deeper into that combo, I would hit a button, and I had just forgotten, halfway along the way, I used that standing, or, like a jumping mid. And, oh, hey, there's a third one way deep in the combo, and Jotaro rolls out. Oh, I use a standing heavy with my stand. Oh, he dropped out. And it just kept on going and going, and just working to the end of, and finding a way I could get everything to piece together perfectly, get in all these alternate moves, still get all my launches properly, and make it so I could actually execute the combo efficiently. It just took forever, and while it was interesting, I will say that much, but I cannot say it was the funnest thing I've done in my life. So kind of the thing here is, you're not always going to get to lead into a combo with your optimal starter. If you've ever played a fighting game, especially like air dashers, anime fighters, whatever you want to call them, there's a good chance you're not going to get that perfect jump in. You're going to connect with a move that is random, and you're just going to have to work with it. And there's even a chance that when you're in, you get your perfect starter, maybe you have a slight misinput, and you end up hitting a standing medium instead of a crouching medium. The idea that all these small things just add up so quickly and send your bread and butter combo to the grave just in that small moment is completely silly to me. And I really don't think most players are capable of keeping a counter of every move they performed in their head, so you can piece together, that combo on the fly. It's not plausible. I understand the system was made to be simple, but in the grand scheme of things of, just trying to get a combo to work, I know the very basic player doesn't care about this stuff, but even for just mid-tier players, it's gonna get frustrating to try and come up with a combo. And especially when you don't realize you've done that move a second time. The second you see that drop, you're gonna be looking at your hands and thinking, when did that happen? So, with all this out of the way, where does this leave us going forward into the full version? So, naturally, I'd love if we could just return to the system they had developed previously, as honestly, that system was perfectly fine. And I know this means people are going to eat longer combos than we're seeing in the demo, but are they that much longer that it would really matter? I just don't think so. And like I said, we have bursts now, so I cannot see the room to complain about that just being brought back. But if the developers really insist on not reverting the entire system back, they can just change portions of what we have right now in this current demo build. So for starters, they could just flat out bump up the max count each move could land. It's not a stretch to say that limiting a move to 2 uses per combo is incredibly severe. I'm not exactly sure where the sweet spot is to keep it from getting 2 out of hand, but it probably wouldn't kill anybody if it went up by even just a couple of digits. And say, maybe that's not their cup of tea. If that doesn't work, they want to keep it at 2 per combo, just why not bring back the character states? If you can, I can get not wanting to see someone, keep doing light punch. I remember that was a big Phantom Blood Dio thing, was, you spam your light punch all the time. And it looks silly, but why should it stop that same Dio player from using that once the opponent is aerial, right? Like, it just connects differently, it juggles differently, and when you're trying to keep a juggle going, sometimes you really just need the right button, and sometimes that button is a fast light. Sometimes you need the extra range of your medium attacks, or, you know, just as a character, maybe your heavy attack is the only normal you have that has a proper hitbox to land when your opponent's in the air. Maybe you're like a character that, you know, your standing light is actually just hits really damn low, so the chance it's ever going to juggle somebody in the air, it's not going to happen. And, you know, if you start adding this all up, it just ends up not working out for the entire cast. So the thing is, there's obviously a lot of characters in this game, and a lot of them do not have very orthodox moves. So just because certain characters, and obviously the ones we see in the demo are probably good examples of this, just because the characters, these 4 we see now, are making the system work, it does not mean by any means that every character in the roster is going to be able to make the best of this system. So if we want to have an even playing field, and just make sure it's as level as possible for every character to get, you know, the best damage out of combos, whether they have full gauge, whether they have just like 50% or 1 gauge. If we want to make sure that's as equal as possible, I just do not think this system we have in place right now is going to offer that. And whatever your opinion may be on the new system, you know, just from watching this video, I hope you're able to learn something. And for those of you that are still around, I appreciate you for sticking it out with me until the very end of this video. And if there's one thing we have all learned from this, just remember, don't use the same move more than twice in the same combo. Now, I want all of you to get out there and come up with some cool combos.